This bracket actually doesn't look as bad as you think. I think it does. I don't know. What do you guys think? How does it look? Oh, well. Welcome to technically the first video since I've started the EB Sports Report, a new sports website that is going to be just pretty much all sports. So this will be the first video that's going on my website. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and check that site out. I'm going to give you guys a quick March Madness update on my bracket before I get into some analysis. Looking at my bracket right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Sweet 16 teams, which I'm surprised that's pretty good. Unfortunately, the region that I was most concerned about, that West region where I had Gonzaga, we all know what happened there. But if you look at the rest of that bracket, all my teams in the Sweet 16 Elite 8, Gonzo. Thank you, Gonzaga. Thank you, LaSalle, for messing up my upsetting Ole Miss. Thank you, Harvard, for taking out New Mexico, so that way Arizona could have a nice road to the Sweet 16. And especially thank you, Kevin Kraft, for hitting that three-pointer that had Ohio State win, because I had Iowa State winning that game. So the West region, shot. Gone. What can I say? I mean, that region was so wide open right now. I mean, you got Arizona, Wichita State, LaSalle, and Ohio State. So, I mean, we could possibly have Ohio State and Arizona in the Elite Eight, which would actually be pretty cool, I think. Arizona's, like I said, Arizona's one of those teams that I thought was really had Final Four capability, but I just didn't see during the season where if they could put it together for a full game. But they have Final Four talent. They're deep. They know how to win close games. And they have guys who can make big shots in Mark Lyons and Solomon Hill. So if I had to pick a team to come out of the West, I'm picking Arizona. Anyway, back to my picks. The region of death that I predicted earlier, the Midwest, your boy predicted that. And for folks who were surprised at Oregon getting there, like I told y'all, Oregon is not a 12 seed. They are much better than that. They beat good teams this whole year. And the fact that they, beat a good St. Louis team, I mean, the Pac-12 is really strong. It was really strong this year. It was stronger. It was more balanced. It wasn't as top-heavy as maybe the Big Ten was, but it was a very good conference this year. So Oregon going that far, I was very happy with that. Looking over to the South bracket, I had 3 of the teams. You see Kansas, Michigan, and Florida. Unfortunately, Georgetown couldn't make it because they were too busy remembering that they haven't made it out of the first weekend since 2007. And they decided to give up the ghost to the sleeper tournament, which has been Florida Gulf Coast, which has been almost kind of like a referendum on how this season has been in more than one way. Like, it's not just saying that this college season has been just very down, but the reason it's down is because Florida Gulf Coast is playing totally different. They're playing carefree. They're fun to watch. They have a great guard in Comer. They fly around with alley-oops. I mean, they're fun to watch. And they beat Miami early this year, as people have said. So they are a legitimately good team to watch. And it's kind of saying why college basketball needs to just let their guys play. Stop overmanaging the game. Stop holding guys back. Let them play and see what happens. I mean, Florida Gulf Coast has not only proven that this season's been so wide open, it's proven why it's been wide open, because they're so much fun to watch. And again, going up against Florida this week, who's going to bet against them? I mean, would you doubt they're going to win that game? Especially if it's an in-state rivalry game, and we know that in-state games, they want to prove themselves against the big boys. Ask UCLA how that went when they faced Cal Poly SLO earlier this year. Anyway, moving down to the East. Once again, your boy was solid. We got 3 out of 4. We got Indiana. We got Cuse. Miami. Thanks to my man Shane Larkin for that big-time shot. And unfortunately, Bucknell couldn't join us because Butler is still a pretty good team. My bad. I didn't expect Butler to win that game, but Brad Stevens is turning into one of those coaches I can't bet against in the first round anymore. Speaking of which, I don't know how in the world if you look right here, I don't know how in the world I picked UNC to lose to Villanova. When I got reminded yesterday watching the Evening Jones that Roy Williams has never lost a first round game. My bad. My bad right here. I was bad for that. But I did have Kansas getting to the Sweet 16 because North Carolina's not that good. I mean, Villanova wasn't that good either, but North Carolina wasn't that good, so I had Kansas going there. Anyway, down to the East where I was left off. I like the Indiana-Syracuse game. Of course, everyone's going to talk about the 87 title game with Keith Smart hitting the go-ahead shot to win it. Steve Alford on that team. Derek Coleman as a freshman, I believe, on that Syracuse team, along with guys who I think was Ronnie Cycli on that team. I'm not sure. Pearl Washington or Sherman Douglas. Sherman Douglas may have been on the team. I'm not sure. But you're going to hear a lot about that. That's going to be fun. Miami against Marquette is going to be a pretty good game, I think, too. I'm not sure what to expect from that game, but I think Marquette will definitely make it fun, and I think Miami should win that game. But looking ahead to this week, if I had to make my predictions, I'm going to just sit back and try to watch. I'm just going to root for my bracket, root for Florida Gulf Coast, because I think that what's so great about the tournament now is that it really is wide open. I mean, you could really see some teams really surprising all the way. Like, I think Indiana right now, even though I didn't have them winning the bracket, Indiana's always played well against great teams. Even though they barely had to beat Temple, they've been pretty good against really good teams this year, so they could easily get to the Final Four. I know I have Miami getting there. I'm going to take Michigan over Kansas. I love their backcourt. I think, guard play value matters a lot. In the region of death, I got Louisville, Michigan State winning the Sweet 16 and then getting to the Elite Eight. And then I have Louisville going past Michigan State to do that. The West, how the West was won, the Wild Wild West, right? So I'm gonna leave with some final words on UCLA. As I wrote about on my site, I'm not surprised Ben Holland was fired. I support it. It's been a great 10-year run, but it's time for him to go. I mean, it is sad to see someone who loves UCLA go, but at the same time, it was time for a change. And I'm pretty surprised how most of the national media has kind of been like, well, how could you fire a coach that took his team to 3 Final Fours? The last time UCLA was in the Final Four, I was 23 years old. I just started as a sports editor, and Wale was the hottest rapper on the mixtape circuit. Dude, 5 years is a long time. And since then, it's been downhill since then. So it was time for a change. Now, who does UCLA go hire? The one coach I hear a lot about that I like is Shaka Smart. I like him. I think he's going to have UCLA playing aggressive. He's going to be a guy people want to play for. And it would be great, too, because it would be another African-American coach in the Pac-12, which would be an awesome thing, too. So if they get Shaka Smart, I'll be happy, but I know they have a really ambitious list. I don't know much about it, but I do think that if they try to think they're going to get Brad Stevens or Rick Pitino or Billy Donovan, they are out of their minds. They've been hanging too much time snorting that sugar off of them Dee Reese cookies out here in Westwood. That ain't going to happen. So enjoy March Madness. Again, if you want to check out my website, ebsportsreport.blogspot.com, I'm going to try to shoot videos once a week. If you're on YouTube, please check the site out if you're watching on EB Sports Report. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we're going to keep going with some LCD Sound System because if you don't know, they're one of my favorite bands of the last 3 years. I just heard this song in The Following last night, and I'm glad because LCD Sound System rocks. Peace.